This is my stack. Every month, same pile. Different numbers. Same feeling. Electricity, internet, credit card, rent, insurance, phone. Some I've opened, some I haven't, some I'm afraid to open. I earn enough. That's what they tell me. That's what I tell myself. But at the end of every month, there's still too much month left and not enough money. My name is Jordan, and this isn't another video about budgets. It's about why the math stopped working and what I wish someone had told me 10 years ago. Chapter 1. The Monthly Panic. It happens like clockwork. Around the 25th, that feeling. You check your account. You do the mental math for the bills still coming. Rent is due in 5 days, and there's a gap. Not huge, just enough to make your stomach tighten. I've been doing this for 15 years. 15 years of the same cycle. Good job, steady income, but every month, that gap. And I always thought, it's me. I'm bad with money. I'm not disciplined enough. Part of me believed that. The other part looked at my life and thought, I don't buy. I don't take extravagant vacations. I just live. So why does living cost this much? That question sat with me for years, until I started looking at the data. Not my feelings, the data. Chapter 2. The data that changed everything. In January 2026, PYMNTS published a study. They track how Americans live paycheck to paycheck. And the numbers? They hit me in the chest. 66% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. That's 2 out of 3 people. But here's the part nobody talks about. The share living paycheck to paycheck out of financial necessity jumped from 29% in December 2024 to 40% in December 2025. An 11-point spike in 1 year. That's not a few people making bad choices. That's millions of people in 1 year pushed over the edge. At the same time, the Federal Reserve Bank of New York reported that credit card debt hit $1.28 trillion, a record. Unsecured personal loans hit $276 billion, another record. And 55% of people carrying credit card debt, they're not financing vacations. They're covering essential expenses, rent, groceries, utilities. I read that and thought, that's me. That's my stack. I'm not alone in this. But somehow that made it worse. Chapter 3. The $165 billion leak. Then I found a report from the Groundwork Collaborative, February 2026. They called it the annoyance economy. That's what Americans lose every year. Not to big purchases, to small, annoying, unavoidable things. $90 billion in pure junk fees. Concert tickets with surprise charges. Hotel resort fees you can't opt out of. Food delivery with 5 different line items. $21.6 billion in wasted time. Hours on hold with healthcare. Paperwork for insurance. Calling to cancel subscriptions that were designed to be impossible to cancel. Here's the part that made me angry. Companies that make it hard to cancel, they boost revenue by over 200%. The harder they make it to leave, the more they profit. From people like us. People with too much month at the end of the money. I thought about all the subscriptions I forgot to cancel. All the fees I paid because I didn't have time to fight. All the hours on hold. And I realized the system is designed for me to lose. Chapter 4. The question I've never asked you. I'm going to pause here. because I want to ask you something, and I want you to really feel it, not just think about it. When you look at your own stack, your bills, your account, your month, what's the feeling underneath? Not the number, the feeling. For me, it was shame. For years, this quiet voice that said, everyone else figured it out. Why can't you? And I really wish, that 10 years ago, someone had taken me by the hand. Someone had sat me down and said, Jordan, it's not just you. The system changed, and here's how to navigate it. But no one did. I had to figure it out alone. If you're watching this and you felt that same loneliness, that same shame, I'd like you to write in the comments what your feeling is. Not your income, not your debt. Just, what does your month feel like? I promise, when you read the comments later, you'll see you're not alone. Okay, let's keep going. Chapter 5. The Rent Trap. Moody's and Zillow. Let's talk about the biggest number in your stack. Rent. According to Moody's Analytics, in Q4 2022, the United States became rent-burdened as a nation for the first time in nearly 25 years of tracking. That means the average American spends more than 30% of their income on rent. In some cities, it's much worse. New York City, 66.9%. Miami, 42%. Los Angeles, 34.7%. Boston, 32.8%. In 1999, only one metro area in the entire country was rent-burdened. New York. Now, 82% of metros have higher rent burdens than before COVID. I remember reading that and thinking, this isn't my fault. This is structural. But somehow, I still felt responsible. But here's something your favorite finance guru won't tell you. Because it doesn't fit the rent is always going up narrative. Zillow just released their rent forecast, and it shows that multifamily rental prices are expected to remain essentially flat through 2026, even decline slightly, 0.2%. Single-family rents? Up only 1.1%, the slowest growth since December 2020. The median asking rent in January 2026, $1,895, and a median income household now spends 24.3% of income on rent, down slightly from 25% in February 2020. More apartments are being built, vacancy rates are rising, and for the first time in years, renters are getting a little bit of power back. Chapter 6. The Emergency That Never Comes, Bank Rate. Now let me ask you something. If tomorrow something broke, your car, your water heater, your body, could you cover a $1,000 emergency? According to Bankrate's January 2026 Emergency Savings Report, only 47% of Americans could. 33% would have to go into debt. Credit card, personal loan, borrowing from family, and 24% of Americans have zero emergency savings. Zero. I was in that 24% for years. One broken appliance away from a crisis. Every month, hoping nothing would happen. That's not living. That's surviving. 68% of people worry about covering basic expenses if they lost their job. And 54% say inflation is making it harder to save. The system is designed to keep you one step from the edge, so that when the edge comes, you reach for credit at 22% interest. Chapter 7. 2 people, 2 stacks. I want to tell you about 2 people I know. Same city, similar incomes, different stacks. Marcus has the same stack as me. Bills, rent, credit card minimums. He pays them. They get paid. But at the end of the month, nothing. He's been doing this for a decade. He told me once, I'm not in debt. I'm just not anywhere. Diana has a different stack. She also rents, also has bills. But 10 years ago, someone took her by the hand, showed her something called the order of operations. First, she automated $20 a week, just 20, into a separate account she couldn't easily touch. Second, she listed every subscription, canceled what she didn't use, called to negotiate her internet bill. Third, she started tracking every $5 leak, not obsessively, just noticing. Marcus's stack weighs him down. Diana's stack is just paper, because she has something underneath it, a buffer, a cushion. Not huge, but enough. The difference isn't income. It's a system, and someone who showed her the way. Chapter 8. The Identity Shift. Here's what changed for me. Not when I had more money. When I stopped feeling ashamed, I realized this isn't about discipline. It's not about lattes or avocado toast. It's about a system that was broken long before I showed up. Rent outpacing wages for 40 years. Junk fees designed to be invisible. Subscriptions that won't let you leave. Debt marketed as freedom. I stopped seeing myself as bad with money. I started seeing myself as someone navigating a system that was built against me. And that shift, it gave me something I didn't expect. Clarity. Not power, not wealth, just clarity. The ability to look at my stack and see it for what it is. Not a reflection of my worth. Just paper. Chapter 9. Final setup. The stack. This is still my stack. Every month, the bills keep coming. The rent keeps rising. The system doesn't care about my clarity. But something changed. I'm not alone in it anymore. And neither are you. If you're still in that place, the place where the month is longer than the money, I want you to know something. It's not because you're broken. It's because the math is broken. And someone should have told you that years ago. If this video felt like someone finally took you by the hand, I'd be grateful if you pressed like. Not for the algorithm, just as a quiet signal that this mattered. And if you want to keep questioning these systems together, week by week, you're welcome here. Only if it felt real. Thank you for your time, for your trust. I'm Jordan.